Good morning, traders. Welcome to Framework Fortune, and welcome back, Framework Fortune community, to this Monday of volatility and craziness so far. The SPY continued to sell off, had a little rebound in pre-market, but is selling off, or trying to sell off again at the moment. This is a short-term downtrend we have, but not looking good, as the SPY is getting rejected at the 200-day moving average. So I'm expecting us to come down some more. Maybe we bounce off this 200-day moving average. Maybe we do, but I don't think so. Yeah, I think we this little McDonald's arch here, which is that we formed this little double top. Not looking good. Anyway, we'll be keeping a close eye on it all day. Let's see, CEAD, that just had a reverse stock split. That's all that is. PDSI. A little shoot up, nothing there I really like. TCPP is an IPO. We'll keep an eye on it. Collegium acquired hold on, I see we're having an issue with the stream. Let me take a look here. Just let me know if you guys are having any issues in the chat with the stream or not. Okay, anyway. We'll keep COLL on watch. They did buy another company, which caused them to have a little pop. They are running right in the 200-day though, so I don't know. I don't know if I like that play. I am still in BKKT. Well, I didn't stream Friday, but I got in BKKT Friday. 30 shares, swinging it. Still looking. Of course, I'm looking. What are you doing here? What are you doing, Ben? Let's get this right. Let's not. There we go. So there's the new downtrend we're currently fighting at 750. But this is a crypto play, so I am keeping an eye, of course, on Ethereum and Bitcoin at the moment. Bitcoin's looking pretty decent. Oh, and Ethereum's coming back up too. Yeah, whole crypto market looks like it's rebounding some. Small rebounds, but a little bit of rebounds. Hey, Lightning Rick, how's it going, buddy? Seems okay there. Okay, as long as it's working. YouTube's telling me it's not, but you know, YouTube is a bunch of liars. So, I did get in KEVL as well Friday. I got it a little high. It's looking for it to continue, but of course it dipped down. I only had 30 shares on the swing, and it's pretty cheap stock. So I mean, $3 of 30 shares is like $90 invested. Just looking for it to continue up this trend line. It's had this beautiful trend line, and it has, you know, room up to the 200-day up to 450. So both of those, I'm swinging as long as they hold up where they're at. You know, BKKT can't drop below 7, and KEVL can't drop below $2. Oops. Give me just a second, guys. So yeah, SPY getting rejected off the downtrend, close to cracking 438. If it cracks 438, we're coming down to 435. Which means, let's see, I'm going to look at some of these other plays, but SPY really starts dropping. Ooh, CFVI with a nice pop up almost to 15. If that can break 15, that's a possible play. Yeah, I'm liking this wedge. It's already breaking out of the wedge. We just got to break 15, so I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye. Wouldn't mind a little pullback to 1450. So I'm up to this 1480. Let's see, I'm on a 15 minute. Let me go on a 5 minute. So the wash sell rule, you're better off talking to your tax accountant. If you don't have an accountant, you do your own taxes, and you're a trader and you have a business, I would say get an accountant, a good solid accountant. And I do not mean H&R Block or any of that nonsense. A real true accounting company. And then you don't got to worry about the wash sell rule. But It's basically a stupid rule that the SEC put in. You know, they love their stupid rules that's supposed to help us small traders, but it's something along the lines of, if you take a day trade, if you buy and sell a ticker symbol, say in January of this year, and then you go and trade that same ticker symbol, and you took a loss on the play, and you go on the original trade in January, and then you took the trade on the same ticker symbol today, and then when you get into it, when you get into the trade today, when you enter, it's going to calculate that loss into your entry price normally. I think Thinkorswim automatically does it. Charles Schwab, however, I know H&H Trader's been talking about this a lot on his channel. But when you get in it, and you are what's the word I'm looking for? You are under, let's just say you're under the whitewash rule or whatever. They're going to add that to your entry price, that previous loss. So, for instance, if I traded CFVI last week, right? Let's say, I took a trade on it, whatever. I got in here, it dropped down, and I lost on it. And then I see it starting to possibly break out again today. So I jump in here. Whatever that loss difference is going to be made up with your entry. Like, no matter what entry you take, they're going to add it on top of your entry. So your entry is going to be a lot higher than what you think you're going to get. Does it make sense? No. For the love of me, I have not been able to figure out why that would be a thing, why it even exists. I have no idea. It's just like the PDT rule. PDT rule is nonsense. But it's just stupid regulations from stupid people who don't know anything about anything. So I hope that helps somewhat, Donda. Like I said, it's as simple pretty much as what I'm saying it is, but of course there's going to be a more detailed explanation. You can go to Investopedia.com. That's a good source. Let's see. Wash sale. Yeah, so right here, Investopedia, what is a wash sale? Wash sale is a transaction in which an investor seeks to maximize tax benefits by selling a losing security at the end of the calendar year so they can claim a capital loss on the taxes that year. That's what they say. It's the benefit tax. It's to maximize tax benefits. But you don't need a wash sale to sell your losing securities at the end of the calendar to claim a capital loss. That's not, that's only part of the definition. Right here is where it actually, makes sense. Intent, it still doesn't make sense, but investors' intent is likely to repurchase the security again after the start of the new year, if possible, even lower than where they sold. Such watch sales or method investors have historically considered to recognize a tax loss without limiting. All right, here we go. Here's the wash sale rule. Oh, I'm sorry. This is not the SEC who did it. It's the IRS who did it. Regulation and all that. These jackholes. So, here we go. This is a regulation that prevents a taxpayer from taking a tax deduction for a security sold in a wash sale. So it stops you from taking that capital gains on the wash sale. The rule defines a wash sale as one that occurs when an individual sells or trades a security at a loss and within 30 days before or after this sale, 30 days before or after, buys a substantially identical stock or security or acquires a contract or option to do so. A wash sale also results if an individual sells a security and the individual's spouse or company controlled by the individual buys a substantially equivalent security. But right here was the intent. Is the rules to prevent taxpayers from claiming artificial losses. But I don't see how it's artificial, because if you take the trade and you lose on the trade, no matter how many damn times you sell it, that's still that's still a loss. I don't know how they call that an artificial loss, but here's a link to this wash sale rule if you want to read some more up on it. There you go. That happened to you with KSCP. It's, like they said, the intent, it's good regulation, all of that, but all it is just more regulation on a supposedly free market. But you've been following me. There ain't nothing free about this market. Now, here's another thing, too, with that wash sale rule. That's a good... There you go, Jeff Bandes. Jeff. For some reason, your name had me think... for a minute, I thought your name was Jeffrey Banderas, and I was like, you Antonio Banderas is... little brother who never acted. That's why I had to stop and focus on it for a second. But yeah, Jeffrey, that's a good way to put it in simpler terms. But I will say this. You can only write off a certain amount of taxes for losses. You can only write out, I think it's 2,000 or 2,500 is the max losses. Oh, we may be about to pop here. I'm going to go ahead and hop in this 10 shares. Am I at 20? Oh, no, I have enough to get 20. So if I can get 15. I just meant 5. How about 5? Nope. Okay, we'll just stick with 10 then. So looking for that break of 15. But yeah, so I mean, if you're a day trader and you're trading all the time, and even if you're profitable, right? Even if you say make $50,000 or $20,000 off of your trading, but you had 2,500 in losses. Well, let's say you had 3,000 in losses. Well, you can only write off 2,500, so the wash sale rule doesn't even matter in that scenario, right? Because you only have that maximum. So, again, it doesn't even make sense for what they're trying to use it for. That's why I say it's all BS and just nonsense regulation. Because like me, I take a ton of trades throughout the year. So I'm going to take some losses. I'm going to take probably more than 2,500 in losses. I'm not going to be able to write those all off. So, that's why I say get a good tax accountant, because the wash rule sale doesn't even really affect me. I've never been affected by it, or even if I have been affected by it, I haven't noticed anything come out of it. So, what's up, Usman? 'Cause, 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 'cause Damn, Jeffrey, you are on this tax stuff. I'm not a. That's why I said, consult your tax specialist. I pay somebody to do my taxes because this system is so stupid. And if I sat there and did my taxes, I'd probably be ready to go and, visit the IRS personally. Like I'm going to do anything to the IRS myself, just me by myself, but still, just off the principle. We are getting a little test of 15 now, trying to break out. We'll see if it can continue to pop or not. BKKT still hanging in there at the moment. KEVL, it's hanging about in the same area as well. Now that, see, we get a little rejection there. Good morning, David Davis. Now, see, I didn't know, Jeffrey, that the losses carry over to the next tax year if they exceed the cap. But still, even if they do carry over to the next year, again, if you're a day trader, you're going to be taking a ton of trades. So you're probably going to have $2,500 in losses without the rollover. So you're probably still not going to get to claim it because of that cap. Because you're going to run into the same issue. I mean, when I'm talking about taking that $2,500 in losses, that doesn't mean that you showed negative $2,500 on your account for the year. You can, like I said, you can show a win and still write off $2,500 off in taxes of losses. Because when you're trading, I don't know how many trades a year I take, probably around 500 would be a rough guess, I guess. So I'm not going to win 500 trades out of 500 trades. Let's just be honest. More than likely, I'm not going to win 350 out of 500. My win rate is around, it's a little bit down right now because of how rough this year started out and the way the year ended last year. But I actually finally did get my TraderSync updated. So for full transparency, because Daniel B was asking and all that, I'll show you guys what I actually made last year day trading. And I can tell you exactly how much money I made because of TraderSync. I made a negative $1,000 last year. Now, I didn't quite trade as heavy as I normally do, but I was not profitable in my stock trading last year. I was negative 1,000. But those losses, since I have 2,500 to write off, I'm going to write that $1,000 loss is going to be completely written off, and then my other losses will be written off up to 2,500. So I'll actually, through taxes, there will be a $1,500 to the positive after the write-offs. Because we can write up to 2,500, and if I'm only showing a loss for the entire year, or the overall account P&L for the entire year was negative 1,000, write off the 1,000 of that. That's zeroed out. So then we add that 1,500 left of the 2,500 cap to do the rest of it, or to be in the positive. So even though I lost $1,000 last year throughout all my day trading, because of the way I do my taxes and stuff, I'm still going to end up in the green on my account. Now, I know that sounds terrible. You're like, this YouTuber, this guy's trying to, educate people about trading and all of that, and he didn't even make any money last year. Well, technically I will through a tax loophole, but stock trading is not my only source of income, and this is why I say, if your only source of income is being a stock trader, you need more sources of income, right? Because on top, even though I did not win, or even though I did not end up in the green, after taxes, I will end up in the green on my account, technically. And but I streamed throughout all of last year, so I got ad revenue the whole entire time I was trading, right? So the $1,000 I lost is going to be offset, no taxes. That other 1,500 that we have left will offset the gains from my YouTube ad revenue. So I will be zeroed out on my trading account for stocks, and I won't be paying any taxes on my ad revenue from YouTube. And that's just two sources where they've offset each other. And even though I had $1,000 negative year last year, I'm still going to be in the green, and it's not even going to be a loss. So that's the important thing about taxes and multiple streams of income. As an entrepreneur, you want to be able to balance it out. Now, here's the thing. I made about 12 to 15 grand in cryptos last year. So now you throw that on top of there, I've got more capital gains I got to pay. But I'm an LLC. I have multiple channels. I'm a limited liability corp. So because I'm an LLC, I'll be able to, or I've got expenses, right? I do ad promotion for the channel. There's equipment I've got to buy. There's constant subscriptions that I've got to pay. So all of those costs to run my business will then offset, because you write off all your costs. My business is showing a loss this last year on my taxes because I did show a loss on there. But because I showed a loss on my business, that'll offset the capital gains tax from the profits in cryptos. So again, even like 4 streams of income, all offsetting each other, and this is how you continue to build your wealth and not let the government take every single dime out of your pocket and keep you in a damn circle, right? Keep you in the hamster wheel. But that's why you have a tax account. Because to do all that stuff I'm talking about, you have to do it right. If you don't do it right, the IRS is going to come and dog you out. So you gotta work it out. Yes, Donned Up. If you are a day trader, you can open up a LLC. Technically, you can go ahead and open up the LLC, the Limited Liability Corp, but you don't necessarily need to. As an individual trader, you're already going to be looked at as a business. You're going to be a sole proprietorship. Now, there's not a ton of differences between sole proprietorship and LLC. The biggest difference is with LLCs, you're incorporated. So if anything happens, somebody wants to sue you, the business and all of that, they can sue the business for all of its assets, but your personal stuff is protected. So the business acts as a shield for you if something was to go sideways. Where a sole proprietorship, you don't have that luxury. If somebody sues you, you're screwed. So that's the main biggest difference between just being a sole proprietor and being in an LLC. A sole proprietor, you're already that if you're day trading. Like, you don't have to go fill out a form on any taxes or anything to label yourself a sole proprietor. That's just going to be the automatic for anybody who is trading or doing any type of business. Right. So to me, yes, it's worth it to get an LLC. I'm all over social media. There's a lot of hungry people out there who, at any time could try to sue me, for whatever reason. But I don't know what they would sue me for, but who knows nowadays. And I've got that protection. All my personal assets are safe. They can sue me, and they're going to get the business assets. But what did I just tell you guys about what the business showed last year? The business showed a loss. So if they sue the business and the business doesn't have any money and shows a loss, what are they going to get? Nothing. And you just file bankruptcy on that business and start a new LLC. Keep all that quiet. I know that has not a ton to do with day trading, but this is, along the lines of entrepreneurialism, and we are always going to talk about that on this channel. Usman, how much do I trade with? Normally, I like to trade with about $3,000 in the stock market. For one reason is because I'm doing this live streaming. My whole goal of live stream trading is to help new traders, help new traders grow and have a safe place to where even if you take losses, we're transparent here. I admitted that I didn't make any money last year day trading stocks, but then when you go through the whole process, you see how it actually turns out that I am going to make money, but still, it doesn't make sense. For one, I'm super bearish on the stock market, so putting $25,000 or something like that in my Thinkorswim account, if the market goes sideways and I'm very bearish on the U.S. dollar and the U.S. dollar crashes, well, it takes 48 hours to remove your money from Thinkorswim. So if the U.S. dollar goes on a nose spiral at some point and the stock market goes on a nose spiral, you're going to get caught in that 2 or 3 day waiting period to pull your cash out. So that's one reason that I don't trade with more than 3,000. The second reason is because like I said, I'm trying to help new traders. New traders are not going to be trading with 25K. Most new traders aren't. If they are, then they should be beat with a stick, because there's no reason that you should put 25 grand on the line when you never took a trade in your life. That's just pure idiocy. But it doesn't make any sense for me to trade and try to help all the new traders and stuff that I can with a $25,000 account that they're not trading on. It's not going to be the same, right? Like, I can sit here and go all day and buy $5,000 of a dollar stock that runs 10 cents and make $100 over and over and over again. But if you're a new trader and you're only working with 1,000 or 2,000, you can't do that. And it's the same thing with like Ross Cameron. That's why I don't really understand why people watch Ross Cameron, because he's trading with hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're a new trader trading with $1,000, how are you going to learn how to trade that $1,000 from Ross Cameron, who's trading hundreds of thousands at once? Like, he can buy so many shares and the stock can move 3 cents and he can make a big profit. So it just doesn't make sense to trade with that amount. And I'm bearish on the stock market, like I said, but I'm bullish on cryptos. And back to the US dollar and the things I'm bearish on, with cryptocurrencies, it's very easy to move money out of them, right? If a cryptocurrency starts crashing, I can move it to another currency or a stable coin very quickly. It only takes me 30 seconds. So I've even started doing that. What was I talking about? I got distracted by the comments. Oh, I've even started doing that with Kinesis Money. This is a cool thing for you guys who are gold and silver bugs. If you're a gold and silver bug like me, and you're also bullish on crypto like me, you're bullish on gold and silver and cryptos all together, this little ditty here that I'm going to show you guys is a really cool platform. Hold on just a second, guys. I got to find the code. There it is. Because what's everybody in the cryptos world's argument against gold? It's not as easy. It's not as easy to transfer. You have to carry heavy gold. You can't transfer it. Well, if a token can be backed by the technology, or the coin can be backed by the technology. Hold on. Then the token or coin can be backed by anything physical. Why is this? Hold on a second. What is this not working? Let me see here. Oh, I see. Here we go. So we're still getting rejected here out of 15. But very quickly, this is Kinesis Money. And Kinesis Money has some cryptos, but the biggest thing about Kinesis Money is they have cryptos, KAU, which is a crypto backed by gold. Every coin has a physical allocation of gold to it. And KAG, which is silver. So I've started building this account more. I started with a gram to make sure that this was a legit company, because they had reached out to me. But you can see I have 2.5 grams of gold there and 2 grams of silver. Now, of course, I have tons of physical, but this way, with gold here. But here's the cool thing. This is just amazing to me. Yield holders payments. So I've been doing it since October last year. Gold. I am earning interest on my gold and silver backed cryptocurrencies. Let's go. So like I said, if you're bullish on gold, silver, and cryptos like I am, certain cryptos, Kinesis Money is pretty incredible. And yeah, here's you guys the link to that if you want to check it out. But I am able to move money around from gold to silver to certain cryptos, all of that stuff. And they do have a debit card coming out soon. But gaining interest on gold and silver, woo, whoo, whoo. Yeah, buddy. Because the interest is paid out in the coin that's backed by gold and silver. That means if I wanted to pull the physical gold and silver from that coin allocation, I could. So that means I'm literally gaining interest in physical gold and silver. Oh, makes me happy. So yeah, that's Kinesis. Really cool thing. Do you have to file for the LS? Dondup, are you? I'm assuming you're in the U.S. So you don't. Okay, there's two ways. I'll show you really quick. We'll just go through the whole thing. This is good. We're not doing technical analysis at the moment, but this is some stuff you're learning. Let me go to IRS. So you don't need to. There's 2 steps you got to take to get an LLC. For one, you've got to go to the IRS and you got to get your EINT number. Let's see, forms and instructions. Let's just put it in here. It'll probably pop right up. Or it may just be EIN number. Maybe I'm tripping. Yeah, right here. Applying for employee identification number online. So this is simple. You just come here and click apply online, and you go to begin application. But you don't want to get the EIN number first. Well, I can't remember. You either need to get it first or second. I don't know. But you get the EIN number from the IRS, and then whatever your state is. So my state is Wisconsin, so I got to go to the Wisconsin whatever. Let me Google it. I can't remember the name of it. Now there's a lot of things that'll do it for you. A lot of services that'll do it for you. Like right here, Zen Business. They'll charge you $50 to do this, but that's nonsense because you got to pay. Like this is going to cost you $50 in fees is what you're paying. You're already going to have to pay for your LLC to start. All right, here, choose a. I just need to find the there we go, Wisconsin.gov. Always make sure it's a .gov. A lot of these sites to start an LLC will not be .govs and look like a government website. So, but for Wisconsin, one-stop business registration. So I would have to sign in with my stuff, but you would find this portal basically for whatever your state is, and then you can start your business there. Let's see. Yeah, I still gotta log in, but that's it. You just go to your state government thing. The cost to submit an LLC or whatever depends on the state. I think Wisconsin was $80. Other states can be cheaper, but that's all you got to do. You just go to irs.gov, get your EIN number, and go to your state government thing and file the LLC. Do I think you're dumb trading ever after? What did I say that sounded that I said you were dumb? Because I don't remember saying anything like that. Good morning, Lori Lee. I like the positive energy. Hopefully everybody does have a green week this week. How's it going, Austin? Yeah, I'm in several trades. I swung BKKT from Friday. I'm still holding, looking for it to break this triangle. Holding KAVL from Friday. I'm looking for it to break the downtrend, although it is getting close to cracking here at this 230 level. Which if it cracks that, I'll probably get out. Because that is some support right across. There's resistance there and resistance there. So that old resistance trying to hold up as some support now. We'll see if it can, but I don't know. I'm not feeling as good about KVL. And then I'm in CFVI looking for it to break 15 right now. It keeps testing and testing and testing, but hasn't been able to break. So I'm in 3 trades, 2 swings and 1 day trade here. They're just not doing much at the moment because the overall stock market is still downtrending, but it's not, super crashing yet. It's just slowly dying. Now, 435 was the bottom here. But yeah, we got to be aware. if the SPY can't get back over 440 here soon, we may be heading for Dump City. Got the 10-day at 1460, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things popping around and moving today. But it is Monday. But all these are small positions. Like I'm only in 30 shares BKKT, 30 shares KEVL, and 10 shares in CVFI. Just very small positions because I don't trust the SPY. I don't trust the screen we're seeing yet. You know, the SPY can hold up today, then I'll feel a little bit better about the rest of this week, but it does not look like it's going to hold up. We're cracking 438 again here. Yeah, look at the 15 minute on the SPY. That looks horrible. Let's see. Oh, we got a bunch of PR I need to read. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff about the feds. So, not the SPY because it's $437 and I'm not paying $437 putting that much capital into one share of the SPY. But I will swing the inverse of the SPY. So like I think it's VIXT, or is it, no, VXX. Oh, that's the ETN. What is it? Here it is. The VIXY. So the VIXY, if you go over here to analyze, you can see it's Pro Shares Trust VIX Short Term Future ETF. So this is going to be short against the SPY. And the reason why I'll swing this is because if I think the SPY is going to crash, which I'm close to swinging VIXY, but last time I tried to get in it on this last little pullback we had, the market ended up turning around on me and rebounding. So I'm trying to wait before I get into that inverse ETF. But see, it's only $20. So when the SPY dumps, you can see we've been selling off on the SPY. This thing has been going up because it does whatever the opposite of the SPY. But it's been on this nice uptrend, and it's ran from 15 to 20. So just in the last 3 days, you could have made $5 per share of this inverse of the SPY. And then there are ETFs that are like the SPY that are to the long side that are way cheaper that you could use instead of the SPY. Like the SPY is just, you know, I'm not putting that much capital into it. Plus I'm bearish on it, so. Yep. Oh, SPXS. Yeah, that may be the exact inverse of the SPY, but it's the same thing as VIXY. Yeah, see, it looks exactly the same as VIXY. Let's see. Let's go to the analyze. Yeah, so this one is the S&P 500 bear 3x shares. So this one is 3 times short. Getting 3x the whatever. So David's right. Trade Never After's right. It is the SPXS is the official inverse of the SPY. The VIXY is just another inverse, but it really doesn't matter. They all do the same thing. SPY goes up, they go down. SPY goes down, they go up. Simple as that. All right, CVFI, give it another test of 15. I'm going to take a couple of minutes for a break here before we get into some more. Y'all got me teaching a lot today. A lot. No, that's good. I'm glad this is some good stuff we covered this morning so far for new traders especially. But I'll be right back, guys. Give me just a few minutes. Alrighty, so we are getting somewhat of a. Well, I don't want to say we're breaking out yet. It's still a little too early, but we are starting to hold 15 as support here on CFVI. BKKT coming up, another test of the downtrend. It's got to break 750. KVAL making a bit of a double bottom. And the SPY having a little rebound. So let's see if there's anything I'm missing. Top 10 NASDAQ gainer list. Trash. KCSP. This is another recent IPO. Got to re-break 10, but I'm going to put it on the watch list. XRP I don't like. God, that's... Okay. Cornerstone Buildings. Oh yeah, let me read what's going on the SPY on all this news here. Let's see what's happening. We got a lot of news, it looks like. Kremlin said Putin to meet his foreign and defense ministers on Monday. Doesn't see Ukrainian envoys' comments regarding NATO. It's really interesting. Mainstream media, the news, all of this is continuing to talk about Russia, but they're completely ignoring the protest of the Canadian truckers. You know, why aren't they saying anything about that on the news? All they want to talk about is Russia, Russia, Russia now. And of course, it's like COVID shut off and now we're into Russia. Like, it's so stupid. The mainstream media and their stupid narratives. Alright. Let's see. U.S. European market equity markets lower, gold higher. No surprise there. Spoke Sunday of... Alright. U.S. National Security Advisor spoke Sunday of potential major military action in Ukraine very soon. So for one, potential, two, very soon. Basically, he has no idea. He's full of shit. We'll just say that. Because there's no specifics to what he said. He just made a statement. There's potential military action in Ukraine very soon. Okay? That's like always. That's normal for Ukraine. UK Prime Minister says there's no sign so far Russia will de-escalate tensions with Ukraine. Well, they had problems and tension with Ukraine for a long time. It was their piece of land and Ukraine broke away and now they want it back. Personally, I don't know why it's our business. Oil is the hottest sector. No surprise there. And then the Russian... look at here. Russian foreign prime minister says U.S. put forward concrete proposals on reducing military risk. Says we can see a way to move forward with talks. So the actual prime minister... or not prime minister, I'm sorry, foreign minister for the U.S. is like, yeah, we're going to just talk to Russia. And so all this just Russia, Russia, Russia. Let's see. Fed President Bullard says up to Powell to decide on timing of rate hikes. So remember what Jerome Powell and the Feds and all that stuff we were watching. I think it was last week or something like that, where it was like, oh, we're going to do rate hikes. We're going to be doing rate hikes. We're going to be doing this. They haven't even figured out the timing yet. People have been making decisions off of Jerome Powell instead of, let me rephrase that. Investors, institutions, all that have been making decisions based on Jerome Powell saying things. And that's why you said Fed credibility is on the line. Needs to react to data in ways that is not disruptive to market. Problem is they can't. They've made this bubble with money printing, and it's too late. Inflation's already too high. It's going to continue to go. Like I've been saying, I think we're already in stagflation. Peter Schiff says we're not to stagflation yet, but I think we're there, or at least right in the beginning of it. But the Feds aren't doing anything. Like the St. Louis Fed president said it's up to Jerome Powell to decide when we do the rate hikes. It's nothing. Let's see. Oh, God, here we go. CNBC, what are they saying? Inflation report since October has called into question the idea price increases will moderate without Fed action. Fed needs to reassure public that it is going to defend its 2% inflation target. What do you mean defend its 2% inflation target? We're way over their target. We've been way over their target. They ain't got close back down to their target. 2% inflation is what they normally run inflation at, which is nonsense in the first place. There's no need to have inflation artificially like this at 2%, because then when everything hits the fan, like right now, well, you already 2% disadvantaged as the Federal Reserve because you're keeping inflation at 2% before this. So they would have had to take an action right away, and they didn't. Now inflation, I believe, is somewhere around 15 to 20% actual. I'm not going off of their garbage CPI measurements. But you know, this is their issue. They caused it with all the money printing that they've been doing, the QEs, since 2008. And now they can't get it under control, so it's Russia. Let's blame Russia for things. Let's see, companies still question if supply constraints will ease this year. I can tell you the supply constraints are not going to ease. The reason we're having supply constraints, besides all of the nonsense that they're telling us, is because we don't have any manufacturers here. We have none. Well, we have some manufacturing, but the majority of manufacturing is from other countries. We have traded our BS T-bills and US dollar to these other countries, which are nothing but IOUs because they're not really worth anything, for physical products. When the rest of the world realizes we can't pay our debt back on those IOUs that we gave them for physical products, they're going to send all those T-bills, all those bonds, all those notes back into the U.S. economy, along with all the extra U.S. printed dollars, and we're going to have a huge amount of circulation increase of the U.S. dollar only inside the U.S. economy, which is going to cause hyperinflation. So, because all the manufacturing, those products are from other countries, and they're realizing that we are giving them IOUs that we're never going to be able to pay up on, other countries are not wanting to send us more products for our trash bag paper. They don't want it. You know, China's already lining up to take us out as the world reserve currency. They've been working on that. They're already lined up selling economic packages to different countries and things like that. So the supply constraints were started again because of government regulation, tax raises that moved all the manufacturing out of the country. So the government and the feds, this is their problem they created, and once again are trying to blame it on other things. The supply constraints have been because of COVID, not because we don't have any money and other countries don't want to sell us their products for our worthless IOUs that they're never going to get their money back on. You go even further than that and you look at the government funds, L2050, go look that nonsense up and look at the funds that are in these government employee. They're basically like similar to a 401k, but the government employees have their own investment funds, not 401ks. Coincidentally, those funds are specifically built to stay above inflation. So while they're sending all the inflated money and all that stuff to other countries, government employees, which of course that means all the way up the ladder to the president, are making money off of this fund because they're making interest on the nonsense IOUs that we've sent everybody. They have monetized our debt. So what they're trying to do is use inflation to pay back the huge amount of debt we're in quicker, but that decreases the purchasing power. So if we borrowed 30 trillion, let's just say we borrowed it all 2 years ago, 30 trillion all at once, right? I forgot my point. Where was I going? 30 trillion. Oh, yeah. So, say we took out 30 trillion in debt all at once 5 years ago, right? Inflation was at 2%. We took out all that debt from other countries. Well, now that they've allowed inflation to run up to 15%, right? Those other countries are only gaining 1% interest on those IOUs, or 1.5% interest, because rates are so low. The feds purposely put the rates to zero. So if those other countries are only gaining 1% to the positive side, or 2% to the positive side on the debt that we owe them, and we're monetizing the debt in investment funds, and inflation is at 15% now, we're paying them negative 13% in purchasing power back from the original amount that was loaned out 5 years ago. So we're paying them dollars, a dollar amount back that is worth less than when we took the money and borrowed it from those countries. So we're not paying them their original loan out. We're hoodooing them. And not only are we hoodooing all these other countries, our government is making money off of the hoodoo. Tension, see right here, Fed's board, tensions in Ukraine not necessarily a lead and macro issue at this point. So there's nothing really going on over there. Of course, we got Germans jumping in on all this. But yeah, all this stuff. Yeah, Poland's defense minister says 8 more U.S. F-15 fighter jets landed in Poland. This whole Russian thing, it's just nonsense. It's just another thing to move the markets because the Federal Reserve has lost credibility and they have lost control of inflation. it's another great excuse to use. Oh, we're going to war, so there's going to be more supply constraints. There's going to be rate hikes. There's going to be all this stuff that's going to happen. So that's going to mess with the economy. So what is the Fed doing? The Fed and the government are taking all the heat off of their actions, that all that stuff that I've been saying and explaining, and putting it on Russia. Before it was COVID's fault. Now we're going to hear it's Russia's fault that the market is collapsing, the economy is collapsing. We're going to hear every excuse that they can give us in the book, because Jerome Powell, the people in the government, they all want to be reelected so they can get them sweet ass funds that they're making tons of money on while they're screwing over the rest of the world. And then this right here, New York Fed survey shows when your head expectation inflation dips to 5.8%, from what? What information do they have that they think it's going to dip to 5.8%? I would love to see it. Ooh, now here's another thing. Topic of discussion: review and determination by the Board of Governors of the advance and discount rates to be charged by the Federal Reserve banks. And that's another problem, is our whole banking system is a joke. But CVFI still climbing, slowly moving on up there, but has broken out of that downtrend. So we'll just continue to hold this guy for now, see if it can keep going. BKKT rejected off of the downtrend a second time today so far. KEVL still slowly climbing. SPY fighting with 440 some more. RELI had a nice pop. This is just now breaking the downtrend on the daily chart. I like RELI for a play possibly sometime this week. It looks like it may be a little bit of pullback today, but it is now above all moving averages. We'll just keep an eye on that thing. See BKKT. There's our hour chart. Yeah, so we got just a little bit of consolidation left. Probably it'll be this afternoon maybe. Let's see what's going on. Hold on, let me see what else. Yeah, but trading after, you'll have to pay LegalZoom. You'll have to pay the extra fees. It's not that much work. The work to get the LLC and the EIN number literally take you like 10, 15 minutes. I mean, if you want to pay LegalZoom or somebody extra, uh, I mean, if you want to pay the extra to not do any of the work, that'll take you about 15 minutes to do to get the LLC. I mean, that's up to you. No, I do not have a Roth IRA account. I do not have 401k. Investment accounts for retirement makes no sense to me. I was just saying this the other day on the stream. The Roth IRA gives you advantages because you're not taxed on it. But back to my earlier point of the whole tax thing and multiple streams of income, you can avoid having to pay too much taxes by doing certain things. So, I mean, the tax advantage of a Roth IRA, you're not going to pay taxes on the gains until you retire and pull the money out or whatever or something. Or maybe I think it's like at a certain age limit you can pull it maybe with less taxes or whatever. But I'm not trying to work my whole entire life and waste my whole entire time of my life just to fill up an account with money for some jackass on Wall Street who I don't trust to go and trade my money for me. I could have a physical Roth IRA, or not a physical. I could have my own Roth IRA account, of course, without anybody else trading in it. But again, that's money that is going to be locked up until I retire. Right now, we're at 15% inflation, or somewhere around there. In 50, 60 years, well, I'm 30 something, so 30 years, unless something dramatically amazing happens where the U.S. can pay off some of that debt, a nice chunk of it, their IOUs are no longer worthless IOUs. The government is actually making good decisions, which they've not made good decisions in years because we've been in debt and they continue to spend. Anybody who's in debt knows if you are in bad debt, which that's what the government is in, is bad debt, not good debt. There's a difference. When you're in bad debt and you continue to spend, there's only one way that is going to go. Doesn't matter if you're the government of the United States or not. Debt works the same. And all their debt is bad debt, because what have we got? Basically the federal, I just had this is perfect. Basically the Federal Reserve is a giant credit card, right? So all those products and everything that we've been buying from other countries, we've used the United States Federal Reserve credit card. That's where all that printed money has come from. So when you use a credit card and you're buying TVs and products that don't gain value, you're losing money, but you're losing somebody else's money. So that's bad debt. On the other hand, good debt is where you go and buy a house, fix it up. If it's got, usually bathrooms or kitchens are where you can add the most value to a real estate house, or to a fixer-upper. And you don't even need to find a fixer-upper that is got super crazy problems or anything. You just need to find something cheaper than market value that needs a new bathroom and a kitchen. You put a new bathroom and a kitchen in there, you're going to get a whole lot more value. You buy the bathroom and the kitchen there's a couple of different ways you could do it, but anyway, you buy the kitchen and the bathroom, put it in, it's going to add a bunch of value to the house. You refinance the house, so those new ads that you put is going to give you a higher price point when you refinance, which is going to give you more money. So if you say you bought the house at $150,000, you put in bathroom and kitchen, which usually costs about 25 to 30 grand, depending, could be less or more, depends on how crazy you want to go. So now you've got the mortgage from the $150,000, you've got the $20,000 add-on with the kitchen and bathroom, so you got $170,000 there. But when it gets reappraised for the refi, you're going to reappraise higher, probably around, let's just say $190,000. So when you do that cash out refinance, you're going to make that difference. You're going to get $20,000 in your pocket, and then you rent that property out to somebody. They pay the refinance mortgage, and you are now 20 grand in the positive, along with the cash flow from the tenant paying the mortgage. So that is good debt. You know that you are in debt at that point, but somebody else is paying for your debt, and you're just making cash off of it, left and right. You know, you get that initial 20,000 from the refi, but you can then go buy another property and do the same thing over and over and over again, and just rent out a bunch of houses, and then you have so much debt. But to even make it crazier, that 20,000 that you put in your pocket from the refi is tax free, because that's debt. You can't tax debt. So you pocket 20 grand tax free. And that is how to basically start with no debt and go to having good debt and cash flowing properties, which will allow you to continue to grow your real estate investing. And the tax loopholes are so stupid, because if you're doing it all in debt, it's tax free. You can't tax on debt. You didn't make any money technically. You still owe money on the original loan. So that 20,000 you pocketed, you know, it's still part. It's still technically a part of the loan, but somebody else is paying for it. They're going to 1 point in March trading effort with the Feds. I don't think they're going 1 point. I think they're going to go, if they do a rate hike at all in March, it's going to be a 1/4 point, maybe a 1/2 point. They can't raise it a whole point. They raise it a whole point, the market's going to drop. See, the market is trying to break out right now, and in 2 weeks, well, not break out, it's just trying to rebound right now. We look at that daily chart. We still got all the way back up here, but we got to get through all of these downtrends, all of these EMAs to even get back up there. So if we do break through all of this and we get up to like 475 and by March, and then the Feds come out and they announce a 1 point rate hike, that's going to be a lot. The reason why it's a lot, at 1 point doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about 1 point on $30 trillion in debt that we owe, 1 point on all of the house mortgages, people who did not get fixed loans always get a fixed loan, never get a balloon loan or any variable APRs. You want it fixed. And the reason why is because of right now, I guarantee there are people who are going to lose their houses because they got a balloon loan payment, or a variable interest payment. And guess what? If you take out a loan where the interest can change, we're in these inflationary times. They're going to change that interest. The banks and the credit card companies, they ain't going to let you get away with not paying money. So if they do raise those rate hikes, everybody who's got a mortgage with a variable APR is going to have to pay more money a month. Well, the government's also talking about raising taxes. So I don't know how the middle class, which is who pretty much is the country. The middle class and the lower class are all the workers. They produce products, although we're more of a service economy. Most of it now is just service driven. But I forgot what else I was saying there. So CVFI still trying to slowly climb. And just everything. And it's basically because we're going sideways in the market. You see, we got this channel, this bottom support at 437, but we're getting closer and closer. Just possibly being consolidation triangle, but we're just consolidating sideways, so nothing's breaking up or breaking down really. Just kind of everything floating around as people wait to see what's going to happen. A lot of uncertainty in the markets, that's for sure. I don't agree with that, David Davis. Yes, the Fed will be able to get stocks for cheaper, but nobody wants to be the person who pricks the bubble, right? Like if Jerome Powell is the person that pricks the bubbles, then everybody's going to blame the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell for the economic collapse. They are trying to hide what is going on with Russia and COVID and all that stuff. An interesting fact, go back to 2019 at the end of the year, the housing repo market went upside down. The banks almost crashed. Never came out in mainstream media. They never told anybody. They hid that. And then COVID came out. So there's always distractions. There's always something that's another excuse. Like if Jerome Powell wanted to crash the market and get cheap stocks, he would have already done that. But you got to remember who's in power right now. Who holds all three houses or all three parts of the government? You know, they are not going to want the market to crash under their watch because then nobody will vote for them. So, same thing with Jerome Powell. If the people who are in control now who put Jerome Powell back in charge of the Federal Reserve here recently, they don't want, they all want to get voted back in, and they're not going to get voted back in at all under market crash and economic collapse that happened while they were in office. So I don't think so. I don't think that Jerome Powell wants to crash the stock market like that. If he wanted to crash it and get cheap and get stocks for cheap, they would have done it already. That's what I was saying. They should have raised interest rates in the beginning. If they would have raised interest rates in the beginning, we would have had a market crash. It would have been a pretty big market crash, but it would have been the right thing to do to offset inflation at that time. They never did the right thing to do in the beginning because of that. Like if they would have crashed the market, it would have looked bad on them. But crashing the market in the beginning was what had to happen. All this inflation and all this money policy, this Keynesian economics that they've been using, it's not working. So they don't want to take the blame for it. They could have crashed it already and got the stocks for cheap, but they're not going to do anything. They just keep kicking the can down the road. Yeah, exactly. I don't trust any of them either. But at this point, it's not whether they want to crash the market. They don't want the market to crash. They don't. If they did, like I said, they would have fixed the problem. They would have let it crash. They would have raised the interest rates way before inflation got out of control. Remember, we're at 2% inflation. You raise interest rates to 3%, and we're at 2% inflation. Well, guess what? Now we're 1% to the positive, which would pay off debt, pay off what the government owns. But they didn't do that. They don't want to do that. They're not showing any signs of wanting to do that.
they are fighting, they are pumping money in specifically to keep the market from crashing. They do not want um, this to crash on their watch. And it even makes more sense because of the response of the party that is in power right now of all three houses or all three branches of the government. Election time is right around the corner for senator and house reps. If it would be real coincidental if the Democrats flopped the election and then the Republicans had to come in and then they let the market crash. Jerome Powell stops trying to hold the market up and lets it crash on the Republicans instead of the Democrats. Well, now in 2024, when we go for the next presidential race, the Democrats can point and say, look what happened when the Republicans took over. The markets crashed and the economy crashed. So never vote Republican again. Only Democrats have your back. That's what it's going to be, more than likely. Of course, there's a lot of Republicans who are the same as the Democrats, so they're not going to get affected. Those ones who've been in government for 50 years and they've got those L 2050 funds and all of that, those Republicans are on the same page. They're going to pass whatever that the Democrats want, and we've seen that happen. But that to me seems like the best plan if I was wanting to take over a country. Orchestrate a crash, a slow build up to a crash to destroy your political opponents with it. Just a theory I have, but kind of lines up. Oh, I know. They're making tons of money. Like I said, you know, Nancy Pelosi's own personal trading fund is not the government fund. She's making the money off of the government funds too. But she's got her own accounts. A lot of the politicians do have excuse me, God, other investment accounts. But yeah, Nancy's got the bag. She's got it hooked up. Nancy's the best investor that anybody's ever seen. Her and Joe Biden both. They have lived off tax dollars, everybody else's money for a very long time, and took everybody else's money and made it into millions, not billions. Yeah, so see, we're just going sideways. Still no movement really happening that I'm seeing on anything. So I'm just going to hold these for a little bit longer today. As long as they're holding up, but we'll see what happens with the SPY. Let's look at the indexes real quick. And then I believe I'm going to call it a day. Yeah, see, the Dow Jones, this is the one that I've been watching closer than the SPY. And it's down right on this trend line right here. It tested it once today already. And see if this uptrend right here cracks, the Dow Jones really doesn't have any support all the way down to here. So it'd be quite a big pullback in the market. But gold still breaking out nicely. Actually confirming the breakout here on the 4-hour chart. Look at that. Broke out. Curling, came back down, tested. Curling back up. We just pushed up to 1871. Silver's still approaching its downtrend. Now look at the real estate market. Look how sketchy we are getting in the real estate market. Real estate index very close to dropping as well. Guys, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be a wild and probably rough next few years, because at this point, I've been bearish and I've been saying a lot of this stuff for 2 years now, but we are getting into dangerous territory now, where the economy is really starting to lose it. And you see oil just going to keep spiking. But you got to imagine, if oil is spiking up to 93 a barrel, how much those oil companies have made this past year. They've probably made a crazy amount. Oh, Ethereum is almost back over 3,000. If Ethereum gets back over 3,000, crypto market could rebound. And Bitcoin's still looking all right. So, all right. Nancy is the GOAT. Yeah. Lori Lee, Indo going to boom this week. Could be. That's what I was kind of saying. I guess they did hit oil, but until Indo has like some official PR of what they're going to do with the oil, it's kind of hard to say. But I do think I thought Indo was on my watch list. Let me put it back on my watch list. Let's see. Oh yeah, Indo's looking beautiful on this daily chart. Let's see, so $5 is some resistance. Actually, 6. We need to break 6. Break a 6, it could really run, but yeah, I am liking this chart a lot. Yeah, I think that's very close to popping, and just needs some more PR about that oil that they found. Like, really, nobody knows what's going on with it other than they found oil. So until that is figured out. All right. Next days will be green also. You could be right, Lori. Like I said, it looks very good here. It's got room to at least get back up to 6 before it really runs into. A little bit of resistance at 550, but it's got room to 556, and then if it does get through there, it could run all the way up to 9, possibly 10. Yeah. Yeah, Austin, I'm in there too on CFVI. I'm in at 14.89, so I'm in a little bit lower than you, but 11 cents on a $15 stock is not really that big a deal. But I'm just looking at this daily chart on CFVI. We've been uptrending since the original break and that one day of selling off. So right across this area here, we do have resistance like 16, 50, 17. But today, just breaking this nice triangle. Of course, it all depends on the SPY, The SPY, if it all of a sudden starts really yanking down, it can ruin any of these plays. So that's what you got to be aware of. sudden downward movements. Of course, to the other side, sudden upward movements on the SPY can also cause very quick pops on plays. So that's why you got to kind of keep a close eye on the SPY right now in these uncertain, volatile times. See, the SPY is to get rejected here and it just shoots straight down to 437. That could just ruin anything. I mean, it could yank any of these guys down. Lord, I talked to Lord. What did I talk to Lord? I think Saturday. I'll have to. I do notice that she's not in the chat this morning. I'll see what's going on with her. But that's it for me today. I'm gonna just hold these 3 positions for a little bit longer, see if the SPY can continue to rebound. I will be back on Framework Fortune Crypto on that channel about 1 o'clock for crypto update. And if you haven't yet, go join frameworkfortune.com. It's free sign up with email. You can find access to the Discord channel and come join us in the Discord where we have groups for everything. And also, there are 8. Last time I checked, this was a day or 2 ago, so I don't know for sure if there's 8 spots left. But there's still around 8 to 9 spots left for member signups of frameworkfortune.com for that first 100 signups. Because the first 100 signups are going to be getting the first airdrop of Framework Fortune token very, very soon. So, and if you have signed up and you're in the stock market world, you don't have a crypto wallet, none of that, no worries. I will do a video for the website and the Discord on the page where you would go to claim your rewards, your airdrop, and that way you'll have instructions on how to get it. It's pretty easy because it's all Solana. So it's a simple Solana wallet, and then you would just put your wallet address into whatever widget or whatever we have when we're ready to do the airdrops, and it would go into your wallet. So don't worry if you have not gotten into cryptos yet. Of course, if you don't want the Framework Fortune token and you are one of the people who's going to receive it, you can always opt out of it, and we can always give it to the next person in line after the 100 members as well. But we're going to make it as easy as possible to get your airdrops, and then there will be more airdrops and more things coming from the Framework Fortune project. All right, guys. That's pretty much it for me today. You guys have a great rest of your day. Appreciate everybody joining me as always, and all those like button smashes. We need those to get the YouTube algorithm going. YouTube algorithm's gotten lazy on us around here. Or maybe I've gotten lazy around here. But either way, we got to get to it. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there. Until next time.